This isn't Saints related, but I felt I had to speak on it. A couple of days ago, a story came across my feed where Bomani Jones and Dominique Foxworth asserted that the NFL is pushing for Joe Burrow and or Josh Allen to be the face of the league over reigning NFL MVP and Super Bowl MVP Patrick Mahomes because the NFL wants a white quarterback to be the face of the league. This story first appeared in May of this year. I'm just now seeing it and I don't understand why it came across my feed 2 days ago, but it did. And when I read it, I was pissed. My significant other explained it this way. He said, it's about money and business. The NFL figures it's white males who spend the money with them, and to hype a black quarterback as the face of the league might turn them off and close their wallets. Never mind all the other people who are not white and the people who are not male who support the NFL. I guess they don't matter. Corporations capitulate to races as a matter of course, and the NFL is no different in that respect. Do you know who the first black quarterback in the NFL was? Who the first black head coach in the NFL was? If you say James Harris and Art Shell, you'd be wrong. For that answer, you have to go all the way back to the founding of the NFL. The NFL as we know it today was founded in 1920 as the American Professional Football Association. It became the National Football League in 1922. At that time, the league had two marquee players, Jim Thorpe and one Frederick Douglass Pollard. They met one time in a game, and many came to see them play, motivated as much by the opportunity to abuse them as to watch the game. When Thorpe and Pollard played against each other, Thorpe, intimately acquainted with racism and prejudice, greeted Pollard with a racial slur and told him he'd kill him. Pollard told him he could find him in his end zone. Pollard's Akron Pros were the champions that year, and Pollard was named an All Pro. But he wasn't invited when the championship trophy was presented to the team. In 1921, he was a player coach with the Akron Pros and the league's top scorer. He played running back, defensive back, kicker, kick returner, and punt returner. He also played quarterback for an entire game against the Hammond Pros. He played for 7 years and retired in 1926. By 1933, there were 13 black players in the league. Then, a meeting took place in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where George Preston Smith, owner of the Washington Redskins, proposed a ban on black players in the league. The reasoning was that paying black men to play football when white men were unemployed in the Depression wouldn't look very good. George Halas of the Chicago Bears was instrumental in getting this ban approved. It would be 1946 before a black player would be drafted by the Los Angeles Rams, and 1950 before a black quarterback, George Taliaferro, would start for the New York Yanks. The league fully integrated in 1962, except for one team. Black quarterbacks were often drafted into the NFL, but they weren't drafted as quarterbacks. They were drafted as a wide receiver, defensive back, or running back, and those that refused to change positions were unceremoniously cut. Many refused and went to play in the Canadian Football League. One such quarterback knew racism would ban him from playing the position in the NFL. So, before the 1978 draft, he signed with the Edmonton Oilers of the Canadian Football League. He played there for 6 years, winning 5 Grey Cups, the equivalent of the NFL Super Bowl, during that span of time. When he decided to come into the NFL, it ignited a bidding war for his services. The name of that quarterback? Warren Moon. Doug Williams was drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I believe that same year, and played for them a year and found out that his salary was lower than backup quarterbacks in the league. And he decided that he needed to be paid on a par with other starting quarterbacks in the league. Well, the Redskins didn't agree. So Williams left and went and played for a year in the USFL. And after that year in the USFL, he was signed by the Washington Redskins. He made history with the Redskins, being the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl with a 55-10, I believe, drubbing of the Denver Broncos, helmed by one John Elway. Oh, that last integrated team in the league? The Washington Redskins. And they intended to remain that way until the state stepped in and said, okay, either you integrate or we pull your funding. The Redskins were integrated after that. Injuries shortened Doug Williams' career. After his 1988 Super Bowl 22 triumph, 2 years after, he was waived by the Washington Redskins. And this winning Super Bowl quarterback got practically no attention in the free agent market. Wonder why? Robert Griffin III, taken second overall in the 2012 draft by the Washington Redskins. Mike Shanahan was coach of the Redskins at that time and did not want Griffin. He wanted Kirk Cousins, who was drafted in the 4th round. Griffin took the league by storm that year, racking up Rookie of the Week awards multiple times and even posting a perfect passer rating in one game. He was voted co-captain by his teammates and won Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2012. What ensued was a systematic destruction of Robert Griffin III by Mike Shanahan. In week 14, Griffin had a rather significant injury to his right knee, sat out that game. The Washington Redskins, by his efforts, made the playoffs that year. Robert Griffin III had not yet been cleared to play by Dr. James Andrews, but Shanahan put him in the playoff game anyway, where he injured that knee to the extent that he needed surgery to repair his LCL and ACL. He was never the same afterwards, and Shanahan has not been a head coach in the NFL since. 13 black quarterbacks started in the NFL in 2023, a record. Things aren't better for black coaches, though, despite the Rooney Rule. A black head coach generally lasts 2 to 3 years, maybe. Lovie Smith was fired after a 10-6 season in 2012 with the Chicago Bears after he had been Coach of the Year in 2005 and won the Super Bowl with the Bears in 2006. But the NFL is a what have you done for me lately league, and black coaches are held to a different standard than others. Smith coached the Houston Texans in 2021, posting a 3-13-1 record, and was fired after one season. It should be noted that even the fabulous Simone Biles is being unfavorably compared to Olga Korbut and Nadia Comaneci, bemoaning her perceived lack of elegance and artistry in her gymnastics. They've even suggested that the floor has springs in it to help her. The springs are there for all gymnasts, so they should be able to do what Simone does. Correct? The point is that black excellence will always be diminished, discredited, maligned, and accused of cheating or having an unfair advantage, and that's the only reason they're on top. Black excellence will never be celebrated for what it is: excellence without qualification. Mahomes will continue to be excellent. Simone will continue to be excellent. It's okay to be black and excellent as long as you don't talk about it or celebrate it for everybody else to see.